more Peter Grill and some philosophy time. But this anime certainly is a nice addition to the harem genre. Not exactly the best or the most popular. One of the more daring titles, not to mention the abundance of nudity and even intercourse between the female characters and the protagonists of the series. No more hiding or boob grabbing. We are full of blast, having nasty time, which is amazing. Finally, a harem king who gets laid and enjoys the girls.
やはり早くあの方を探さねば。今大事な話よ。Peter?
Sally is kinda meant to a joke, and Peter is more or less abused and mistreated, rather than pulverized by those circumstances. I guess it's why people are kinda disillusioned with this series. Peter is obviously being abused and used by the girls, and it is in your face he's in a lot of stress and even pain because of the female entourage. It is awesome to see boobs every single episode, and if he gets threesomes and orgies or many occasions. However, it's kind of pointless to get so much sex without proper interactions and some romance before the action. Usually these type of anime are all foreplay and no bite. A lot of boob grabs and panty shots, but not even a kiss at the end, like Rosario Vampire for example. Here the show goes the other way around. A lot of female naked bodies with explicit content and lewd horror-like behavior, but no romance or feeling involved, besides self-interest and lust.
信じているよ、ピーター君。裏切りは許さないからな。
It feels like the girls are just fulfilling their missions and personal ambitions rather than being fascinated or even in love with the main character. Kinda hurts to be objectified and used without the worth of a conversation, even though interspecies reviewers has more nudity and sex and Rudolph Healer has more explicit content. It is this title which resembles porn the most, which is with its outrageous scenarios, superficial character and diverse but predictable cast of characters. Well, I should also mention how kinda racist or simplistic the world of Peter Grill is. Sure, he has all colors in his harem, from ogres to orcs, elves, and even goblins.
とにかく、ピーター様救出のため、私たちも協力いたしましょう。まあ、仕方ありません。
But their names and personality are so damn stereotypical, as if the anime is not even trying to offer some originality, but simply immerses in the madness and awesomeness of the industry. Gotta say, Vegan is a cute name for a lolly elf, because elves are vegetarians and she's a blonde pretty girl. And to mention Piglet, the orc lady, who obviously has the name from a pig due to her skin color and more voluptuous figure. Yeah, I mean, anime has always been a bit on the nose with stuff like this, but here it's just plain old obvious. I like Luvelia. She's the boss lady type with brunette straight hair and some big nice titties. She's the daughter of the king and the end goal of Peter. She's the one he actually wants to marry and start a family with. Sadly, she's a total prude and insecure shy girl who has no idea what intercourse is. This is the comedy of the show, the absurdity of having such a beautiful fiancé, but constantly getting sex from promiscuous women around you.
私もだよ、ピーター君。さあ、祈ろうではないか。
Sounds like a dream scenario, but it kind of looks sad to be honest. Luvelia is such a cutie, and it's sad she does not get some action. We get to see her naked with Lucy Grill, which is standard fanservice stuff, but again, I wish they would have done more with Lucy as well, considering she's Peter Grill's little sister. Well, at least we have a nice cast of characters with all both shapes, sizes, and even skin colors. We have the ogre sister, which are my favorite. This is the best girl from the show. She's also a princess, has a more dominant sex drive. She has an amazing body with perfect hourglass shape. Her tits are big. She's aesthetic enough to give her an attractive, luscious feminine figure. In ancient media, mature girls sometimes have exaggerated proportions when it comes to tits and ass, like in action feminine or triangle legs, and it simply looks silly and kinda grotesque to to have giant tits sagging like watermelons. However, anime usually keeps it good. However, kind of like fairy tale proportions, because like Lucy, Urza, Mira Jane, Yukino, and Minerva have perfect rockstar bodies with big succulent tits, also heavily feminine shapes. Rebecca, Blue Garden, or Homura also perfect examples of great anime beauties. Or Yoruichi and Ragiku and Orihime from Bleach. Thankfully, the girls in Pideque's story have ideal proportions, and Lisa or Lovelia have the best bodies in both from the series. Lisa's fun, provocative, naughty, and has some brilliant tattoos on her hips. I guess those are ogre markings, which just look cool on her. Vegan is also a fun waifu. The lovely blonde girl with pigtails is a staple in harem anime. Here she's a tsundere and a bit complex by her small breasts. Such a classic character. I still really like her, and it is a lot of fun to see her be more desperate in her approach to seduce the protagonist. She uses spells and other tricks to get him hard, not to mention blackmail and other manipulative techniques.
仕方ありませんわ。かくなる上はあれを使うしか。
If she weren't hot and cute, she might have been a problem. But since Vegan is a hot little blonde, I would enjoy the traits no matter how difficult they are. Gobuko is a bit too simplistic. Yeah, I get it, she's a more primitive girl, raised in a tribe, but consider everyone family, enjoying the girls without a bit of rivalry or some demands from Peter, seems a bit off and kinda dumb. She's simply too easy, and her story arc was more or less an escape from the goblin lair rather than getting to learn and earn her trust and affection. Yeah, she's a childish friend, but she's way too simple and gullible to handle her as a warrior. Lucy Gray is another missed opportunity. I mean, she definitely has some interesting interactions with Peter, and her personality shines stronger than the rest. Just give her a bit more screen time and some new scenes. This is anime, people. A weight of interest in such a pornographic story would be no problem, but an enhancement to the erotic narrative. She's way too simple and gullible for me to consider her a warrior. I'm glad we still get harem anime with plenty of nudity and fanservice. At a certain point, the genre was started to be more mainstream, like Date Alive, with mild content. How we have plenty of titties this year, which show the perversion has prevailed, and the ecchi tag is as strong as it always has been. Also, I kind of like how anime is starting to mature, or for the better term, it's morphing into something less shonen and more seinen, as the millennial generation is now well into its 20s. That's why Peter is a dude in his early youth and not some teenager. This works wonders with the harem genre. It allows for more risque content activities between the girls. It feels more natural to have girls in their late teens be naked and act like hoes rather than teenage girls in high school who are still financially dependent on their parents. Once you become an adult, you get a bit of freedom from your family and decrease the activities a girl is willing to do for a dude. Anime is starting to take place in college more often than before, or shifting from the high school to university. While it's still the same harem, the same archetypes, I guess pretty mean girls can be found in many collectives, even at work, consider the manga I'm reading. But enough about that. This anime is rather infamous for its wacky story and lack of standard character development. But things are progressing, and the waifus are learning to share the same dick, which is some sort of development. And it's kind of fun how they all manage to have some bits of dialogue which represent their personality, even if they are all naked and jammed together. Given accessibility, some activities and all shapes and sizes, here you go. This show has it all and even more. Pretty great in the Philosopher time. It's one of the rare anime which actually has sex in it. The Harem King is actually getting busy with their girls. and he's frequently getting laid nearly every episode. He's not modest enough to do a girl at a time. Here the harem is more than willing to share and compete for his chosen sperm. And all these beautiful, popular type girls are getting undressed and aroused together. Now the second season introduces two younger sisters. First is Lucy Grill, the main character sibling. Sadly, she does not sleep with Peter. We have no interest like in Yosuke and Sora. I consider it a missed opportunity given the fact this is an HM after all, and a bit of sister love only would have increased the value of entertainment. We did see her naked, at least as she trains with Luvelia, and takes a bath in the sauna. When it comes to Luvelia, I kind of dislike the gimmick of not having her, the intercourse with Peter, despite being the one woman he truly loves and wants to marry. But I guess this is the joke and praise of the show, and consider how much action with the sheets Peter gets with the other more exotic waifus. I say he's doing fine. His balls aren't blue. By the contrary, they are red and in overdrive. The show also kind of makes fun of the harem premise and even evidences how inconvenient, kind of hard the body would be to have to take care of 5 different horny girls every single day of your life. The Goblin arc is a bit lame. I like the new green girl, however she is kind of stupid and childish. She's even called Kobuko. You get it? Because she's a cute goblin, therefore her name is Kobuko. Yeah, George Lucas is influencing anime as well. It seems she considers herself feminine and thinks it's normal to have constant orgies with other girls. I mean, I like perverted and nasty willing girls, but it just seems like Peter is taking advantage of her innocence. Voltaire has a threesome with her sister Vegan at the end of her character arc, and seeing her beautiful, well-developed, but healthy boobs was indeed a pleasure and really made her shine, imposed her beauty among the other girls. She recognizes her sister in all the ways. I only wish we had more of her. Second best, only after Lisa, cannot beat the perverted personality of the horned lady. I give Pettigrew and the Philosopher time super extra a 6.4 out of 10. The story is lame and predictable, the characters are shallow and simplified, but the unity is good. It's nice to see a protagonist who gets laid on a daily basis with all the girls from his era.